Wales and Scotland, folks, it's 35-7. It's a bit of a hiding. The Scots get their second win in a row in the Six Nations for the first time in a very long time. We're going to go through some of the key events and stats from this one. It's pretty wet here in New Zealand this morning, but the sun is at last coming up. It's been a very, very early morning of Six Nations rugby, but certainly enjoyable stuff. The Finn Russell show is obviously going to be the main talking points of this one. But man, I'm going to go on a wee bit about that Scottish defence because it was pretty good. And again, for the Welsh, you had some chances. Even if you took them, I'm not saying you would have won. But man, you left some points out there, Wales. Kind of frustrating at times. Game started pretty scrappy overall, to be honest. I mean, there was a Scottish knock on. Wales kicked it too long. Big up and under, trying to put the Scottish defence under pressure, but it was too big. Too easy to mark. Free kick at scrum time. But then Hugh Jones combines with Tuipulotu again. They've got at least one moment of magic in them every game, and Tuipulotu put them into a nice gap. So big line break. The game kind of coming alive, and that one leads pretty much directly to a penalty with the Welsh kind of defence scrambling, but still holding on, but conceding 3 points. So 3 points to nil to Scotland early. You got Schoeman winning a turnover in the tackle, and Liam Williams kind of backing himself to do what he did last week, on the old kick return play. But it's not quite going as cohesively as maybe we saw in the earlier game. I mean, Rio Dyer's pass to Dan Biggar was they wasn't ready for it, was he? I don't think the pass was that bad, was it? But Dan Biggar did not know that pass was coming. So he gave Rio Dyer a bit of an earful, puts the Welsh boys under a lot of pressure again, leads to another penalty. So 6 points to nil for the Scots. It's looking all right. But mind you, Stuart Hogg's had to go off for an HIA, which he will fail. So Kinghorn gets the lion's share of the minutes for this game. So, Hogg's usually such a key man for them. It was a potentially big miss, but Kinghorn does all right as well, just quietly. So 6-0, and we're about a quarter of an hour into the game. Wales finally get some attacking chances. They got a 5 metre line out after a nice attack down the left wing, which it saw, I think, Finn Russell penalised for holding on. When he went back to sweep the kick through, he just got swamped by Welsh oncoming tacklers. So, good chance for Wales to attack, but then they lose the line out. Yeah, missed chance. I don't know if you want to keep a missed chance counter, but that's at least one really good missed chance caught. Then not long later, Duhan van der Merwe gets caught in his own in-goal area, so it's a Welsh 5 metre scrum. But then they concede a really soft penalty for being offside at the scrum. So it's kind of, what are we at? Missed chance number 2. Like a decent chance, like really good field position. Dillon Lewis knocks it on. I don't know if that's missed chance number 3. I forget where. I think it was in fairly decent field position. But it's like bang, bang, bang. Wales, you need to get some points on the board, man. What are you doing? Not going their way. But that being said, after that knock on, Wales did win a scrum penalty to potentially give them a chance to get some points on the board. But then Biggar missed a kick that he would usually get. So already potential chances wasted for Wales. But then Russell kicks it out on the full from the restart. It's not the most fluid of first halves. Put it this way. There's a few missed chances, so it's not exactly a classic. Although there are still some good moments, like I mentioned, the Hugh Jones line break, and then Ritchie winning a great breakdown penalty. Scotland had a really nice potential try scoring chance on 29 minutes when they had a wide ball to Kyle Steyn, who certainly saw a fair bit, I think more of the ball than he did last week. But Rio Dyer did well to come across. And then Wales being offside meant Scotland had a chance to go for touch, which they mauled. And it looked like Turner had gone close, but had been held up. But on closer inspection, he'd actually managed to bag the first try of the game. So happy days. It took half an hour, but you get a try on the board. So, Scotland ahead 13-0. Looking pretty hunky-dory. Like I said, Wales have not been without their chances, but Scotland certainly the more clinical of the two. A little bit of handbags. Yeah, these sides didn't seem to be, best of friends anyway. A little bit of bad blood, I'm guessing. But 32 minutes, a bit more handbags as well, because Turner, who's just scored a try, comes in swinging arm and smashes it into the head, kind of George North. Ends up getting himself yellow carded. North, to be fair, I think the ref, I guess, gets it right. These ones are always talking points, which draw criticism both ways, but North is basically bracing by ducking into the tackle, which is not a great idea for a guy who's as big as he is and has had a lot of head injuries in the past. But, it's an instinctive reaction, and he kind of gets clobbered. So it's one of those ones where the ref's looking for a reason to mitigate, and he finds it with the duck. Don't have a problem with it. North goes off for an HIA. I think he passes it, right, because he comes back on. So, unlike Hogg, who's not come back on earlier. But Wales, they punished the Scottish guys for having a man down. Fair enough. Ken Owens at maul time manages to bring it back to being kind of a game-on scoreline. They score a maul try. It's 13 points to 7. That is game on, but that's the only points of the game for Wales. Yeah, so, they punished during the yellow card, so that's at least one, positive note. Jack Morgan won a penalty at the breakdown. They had another chance to attack right before half-time, but then Biggar and Dyer, again, not on the same page. This time, Biggar's little magic pass, Dyer can't handle it. He would have been in for a try. It would have been a quick-fire double during the yellow card, but not to be. So what are we at, 3 or 4 chances? Like decent attacking chances for Wales, not taken. One of them, the last one, is a clear-cut try on the offer, but they didn't take it. So we go into the sheds with that 13-7 halftime score, which is pretty close. Like I said, especially with how many chances Wales have let go. At least a penalty makes it 13-10, the one that Biggar missed, but not to be. Anyway, run meters is 173, 174 at halftime, so dead even pretty much. Possessions 59 to Wales, 41 to Scotland. Territory 70 to Wales, 30 to Scotland. But Scotland's defence is immense. 95% is the tackle percentage, which is pretty much as high as it gets in Test rugby. They've made 89 tackles to Wales' 51. The penalty count is 6 apiece. The penalty count in the whole previous game was 7-7 at full time, so there's certainly been a lot more referee interventions in this game compared to the last one. The second half, Wales looked to kind of continue that momentum from the end of the first half with the extra man. They go 8 phases, but Liam Williams concedes a breakdown penalty, a silly one, kind of coming in at the side. So they waste the end of that yellow card. So they're unable to get any more points out of it. And then from here on out, we're pretty much looking at Scotland, eh? Russell with a great 50-22 gets them some good field position. It's like a 7-metre line out. They go through some phases, but they knock it on. But eventually, they're going to find a way. 48 minutes, you finally see Duhan van der Merwe, who, apart from getting caught in the end goals, had bugger all to do in that first half. It's maybe his second or third carry of the game. He has a big run down the left wing. Liam Williams and I think Tshiunza have to bring him down. But they get advantage anyway, the Scottish guys. After they knock it on, they go back for the penalty. It's maul time. They get advantage. It's a yellow card warning for Wales because, man, they're conceding some penalties in the red zone. Maul again, Scotland phases. And then, Finn Russell takes it, draws his man, and then offload out the back. Bit of Finn Russell magic. Sets up Kyle Steyn for the first of his 2 tries. 20 points to 7. Finn Russell's got more in the tank, though. George North concedes a really soft offside penalty on 54 minutes, so Scotland are able to keep that momentum after that try. Another Wales penalty conceded by Liam Williams. Again, this time means he spends 10 minutes in the bin. And without that guy in the backfield, is Finn Russell going to be able to find some space 15 on 14? You better know he can. They get their maul stopped, Scotland, when they go for the maul. But, Russell's kick is just just a beauty. It's one of the best you'll see, man. Like pinpoint accurate, long distance. But yeah, Kyle Steyn just has to wait for it, catch it, and then basically dot the thing down, man. The accuracy is phenomenal. It's a great thing to see. 25-7. This game is starting to look pretty much done and dusted, and it's just about whether Scotland are going to be able to push on for a bonus point. Wales weren't done. They had 16 phases on the Scottish line for a while. Scotland conceded a penalty at the breakdown. Wales opted for a scrum. This is despite the fact they're still down to 14 men. But eventually Reece Carey kind of knocks it on, so it's another one, like maybe you're looking at 5 chances missed, potential. I mean, you're never going to get all your chances, but Wales' conversion rate of chances to points was dismally low. So I'm just trying to illustrate the point that it could have been closer than 35-7. Again, not saying Wales would have won, but probably should have been a little bit closer. Scotland did get that bonus point 5 minutes later, though. It's another cross kick, a dink to Duhan van der Merwe. Liam Williams misses the first up tackle, and then the one-handed pass to Kinghorn means it's 30 points to 7. At this point, it is game over, and you know Scotland have got the game in the bag. They missed the conversion, but it doesn't really matter. Carey gets held up again a few minutes later, though, for Wales. They go for that consolation try, but it's Scotland who gets the last one of the game. Matt Fagerson, I mean, he deserved the try for all the tackling he does. He did a bunch of tackling last week as well. Again, Wales conceding penalties in the wrong end of the field. So, Matt Fagerson accepts the final pass to score out wide. 35-7 is the final score. I mean, there's a yellow card for Reece Webb before the end because Wales are attacking, but then concede a penalty. Scotland go for it down their own end. They were apparently hunting another try, according to Finn Russell, at the end of the game. But nothing doing. Wales conceded a dumb penalty. Scotland just decided to kick the ball out, so the game's over. But man, the crowd were loving that. The crowd by the end of the game were just booming. Rightly so, man. Their team's put in a really good shift, and Finn Russell's been absolutely pulling the strings. And, you know, one of those performances that you just know he can do. Final stats, man. I mean, second half is not even. Like, first half, you remember the numbers were pretty close. Run meters 435 to 299, so Scotland edged that. The possession comes back to 50-50. The territory is still 38-62, but it's closer than it was in the first half. Tackling, 174 tackles by the Scots, still at 95%. That is just devastatingly high. Just so hard to break down. Wales 144 tackles to 84%, so I mean that's not bad. But in comparison to Scotland, it's not. That's nothing to brag about, is it? They still conceded 5 tries. So yeah, sometimes it was just like there's no missed tackles on the cross kick to Kyle Steyn. That's just a guy in space. Here's some devastating ones. Clean breaks, 10-1 in favour of the Scots. Defenders beaten 28-9 to the Scots, obviously, and penalties conceded 17 by Wales, 11 by Scotland. So, man, you're not going to win many games with numbers like that. Getting pinged, getting carded, not able to generate those kind of X-factor moments with the clean breaks, and just not able to break those Scottish tackles. So, yeah, man. Doddy Weir Cup goes to Scotland. That was a nice little moment at the end of the game. Individuals, Duhan van der Merwe, he had virtually nothing to do in the first half. But second half is where most of these numbers come from. Manages 102 metres, 8 defenders beaten and 3 clean breaks. I swear that's mostly in 40 minutes of game time. Matt Fagerson, 20 out of 21 tackles, is the top tackler, wins 2 turnovers. Finn Russell, 3 try assists. When you consider they scored 5 tries, it's not bad. Even makes 9 from 10 tackles and 28 metres of his own. Jamie Ritchie wins a couple key turnovers. For the Welsh, Reffell, 16 from 17 tackles, but not able to get much go-forward ball in hand. I mean, George North beats a couple of defenders, but also concedes 3 penalties, which you can't be doing. Jack Morgan wins a couple of turnovers, but again, relatively quiet ball in hand. So, yeah, not the best outing for Wales, especially in that second half. I'm going to say it a third time. They had chances. I don't think they would have won the game even if they'd taken, like if they get that bigger penalty, if they get that try at the end of the first half, at least it's closer. Maybe we get a contest in the second half, but nah, man. Scotland just way too good. Some of those tries were proper magic. So first half at times a little bit scrappy, but if you stuck around, man, you saw some pretty nice play. So man, this sets things up pretty nicely in the Six Nations. Scotland first time, as I said, 2 wins on the bounce and 2 bonus point wins as well. So yeah, where can they go? Is it time to get Scottish optimism levels higher, or is that just kind of setting you up for for some hurt later on. I don't know, man. Jamie Ritchie said at the end he reckons they could beat anyone on their day, and he's right. It's just consistency that's been the issues. But there you go, 2 from 2 so far. Perfect start for them. Wales, none from 2. Looking a bit hairy, but if there was a time to get a week off and to get their ducks back in a row, now is that time, and that's what they've got. So we'll see what comes of it. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts on this one, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.